Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back another video from Mother's Basement, and today we are checking out I Hate the Promised Neverland Season 2. And if you haven't seen Season 2 of the Promised Neverland, I highly recommend that you just don't bother. Because it is really, really bad. It is as bad as people are saying. And I haven't read the manga, so I'm not even as pissed off as the people that read the manga are and then went to watch this and go, whoa. I have checked other videos out, so I have had things spoiled for me, but I'm not really going to be checking out the manga. My girlfriend, in fact, though, is reading the manga and is wearing headphones for this video so she doesn't get anything spoilt. But we absolutely hated Season 2 of The Promised Neverland, and I can't wait to see Mother's Basement Jeff go over why he hates the anime. So let's just get into it, because it was so bad. The writing's awful, the characters, oh. Ray didn't say anything.
This is how The Promised Neverland Season 2 handles its main character meeting God.
Oh.
1 8-second panning still frame. Look,
Jesus.
it's already over. Emma
And that's what that was. I had no idea what was going on at the end.
To rewrite the rules of reality in less time than it's taken me to describe that.
Jesus.
If you're behind on the anime, I'm sorry to drop that on you out of the blue.
Don't
but
catch
I can
up.
think of no more perfect way to illustrate why absolutely no one should bother catching up.
There's no point.
Unless you want to read the manga. I do recommend doing that, and I won't spoil anything the show hasn't already. Sadly, that ain't much. I've been disappointed by anime before.
I like
seen
Darling in the
shows
Franxx.
I
really
loved
liked it.
fall to pieces before my eyes, but never like this. The night it premiered, The Promised Neverland Season 1 instantly became one
absolutely
of my favorite
amazing.
Season
1's so good.
Rewatched it more times than anything else, including ReZero, which is a lot of times. And only part of that is because we were mining for precious fill content in a twisted maze of carefully hidden subtextual story secrets to rival the lore labyrinth of Dark Souls item descriptions. Go on, ask me about owls. I dare you. The Promised Neverland's many unanswered yet tantalizingly solvable mysteries have made it a more rewarding series than most to rewatch and or reread magnifying glass and notepad in hand, but it was also quite simply a very well-told story. An impressively
the characters
directed,
were interesting, the pacing was class,
and a thought-provoking piece of allegory. So there are plenty of good reasons to revisit it, even if you're not trying to track the off-screen movements of a juvenile mega-genius and his red-headed adoptive sibling/best friend in order to gather evidence and ultimately bust them for, oh god, am I Candace Flynn? Hey, where's Carol? No, seriously, where the hell was Carol in the last 2 episodes? Did they forget about her? It sure seems like they forgot about her.
Oh, wow.
Sure seems like they forgot a lot of things, like how to make an anime feel tense and scary, how to make a human being care about a fictional character, and toward the end, how to link a sequence of events together in a coherent and meaningful manner to
it just was so rushed. It was ridiculous, the ending.
It's not just that The Promised Neverland Season 2 speed runs through the source material, rushes its ending to deliver half-assed closure, fumbles through its third act with a series of
Darling in the Franxx wasn't that bad. Stop it.
It's the cumulative effect of all of those things and more, the gradient of quality drops from episode to episode as it goes from being one of the absolute best anime I've ever seen to one of
Season 1 was
the
that
absolute worst.
It's
each dip
awful,
lowering your expectations farther and farther until they've fallen as far as you think they can go. And then they condense the one arc that the whole show's been building up to, the return to Gracefield, into a single, unfathomably bad episode. And then they follow that up with an anime finale that isn't actually animated for over a quarter of its runtime.
So they took a story arc and rammed it into one episode.
Very obviously just early concept art for the 3rd season and or movie that they're definitely never getting now. Watching this show was like falling all the way down the Himalayas, only to discover that the base ends at the lip of the Grand Canyon. And what really boggles my mind is that there was no sign of this as the season began. Sure, the quiet, terrifying atmosphere that defined Season 1 was immediately blown away by the loud, lumbering...
Run away from the CGI monster!
Unity asset store lesser amygdala chasing the kids through the woods. But the standoff between Ray and the farm guards was still legitimately tense.
Yeah, that was good.
That would be the last such moment in the entire series, and the episode surrounding that was lush with organic, immersive world building.
It looked nice.
From the tunnels beneath the woods to Minerva's bunker to the demon town and nearby Temple of the Evil Blood to the heart of Gracefield HQ itself, that aspect does stay strong throughout the series. The manga fan in me was always thrilled to see how the artists at Cloverworks brought these spaces to colorful, animated life, even as the plot connecting them fell apart before my eyes and the characters within them were reduced to husks of their former selves.
They had no character development whatsoever. I didn't care about any of them that came out of there with
none of the manga's
Norman.
coolest locations, Goldie Pond, Norman's hideout, the Demon Capital, and especially the Seven Walls, will ever be animated. Still, that is a slow-mounting, quiet sort of disappointment, and one that was only really felt initially by those who knew what they were missing. Sure, in retrospect, these episodes are made significantly worse by the knowledge that most of what they set up, from Mujika's pendant to the spiritual significance of the Gupna flower and Sanju's desire to eat humans again, to the promising anime original concept of Isabella leading the demons in a hunt for her own children, goes absolutely fucking nowhere. But as they were airing, these episodes did intrigue and entertain, especially for anime-only viewers. And even as we manga fans were repeatedly wounded by first the sudden excision of our favorite stir-crazy father figure, then the erasure of the whole awesome survival game storyline that revolved around him, then the too abrupt reveal of Norman's not deadness, the cutting of almost his entire crew of badass anti-demon rebels,
more of them.
The revelation that instead of getting to watch Emma mentally transcend time and space in a tesseract pocket dimension, she would be fulfilling her anti-genocide agenda by slowly strolling through the woods.
It was bad. Like, why did they do such a weird montage thing at the end?
We, or at least I, had to begrudgingly admit that the narrative flowing through the disconnected, remixed manga chapters we did get to see animated was at least coherent enough to satisfy those seeing them for the first time.
Right, okay.
Heck, I'd go so far as to say that the way the show handles Emma and Norman's conflict about how to deal with the demons and the hatred driving the Lambda kids in episodes 6 and 7 was pretty damn good.
Yeah, that was interesting.
In a vacuum.
Yeah,
if you can ignore how much less weight there is behind Emma's naive convictions when we haven't seen her actually.
Yeah, but it was like, oh, what's going to happen now? Are they going to compete with each other? Is it going to be this really mad conflict?
There were still quite a few cracks in the reconstructed narrative, but as of the end of episode 7, it wasn't completely broken yet. And if the long-promised anime original storyline this was all supposed to be leading up to proved to be golden, it could have kintsugi'd in all those cracks to form a beautiful new whole. By the way, if you don't know what kintsugi is, you should have watched my Japan Sinks 2020 review. Or just watch Japan Sinks 2020, but that video is really good. Like, one of the best we've ever made, and not enough people have seen it yet. Sorry to get distracted.
Right, anyway,
honestly, I'd just rather be thinking about literally anything
else.
Like Shaman King. Did you know
Can't wait.
Bringing back Shaman
Can't wait
King?
for that. Yes.
Giving it the old Brotherhood treatment? Hope they
Do
don't
it.
take 20 years to do that with this show. Anyway, Netflix has that, so if I keep talking about it, I'm only going to make myself a different kind of sad.
Anyway.
The really cool thing about TPN2 is how it managed to stay just good enough to leave a little hope alive that it might turn itself around right up until it barreled straight off a cliff. I don't even hate episode 8, mate. I think the way that its anime original plot puts Norman in the middle of his own monstrous scheme and forces him to actually bloody his own hands if he wants to carry through with his cause is a more compelling way of exploring his inner conflict than just having Emma talk him out of it in the final boss chamber. The episode's depiction of the human experiments at Lambda is legitimately chilling. The escape Norman leads thrilling, and it's cool to see Ray, Emma, Dawn, and Gilda putting their heads and all of their skills together to track down Sanju and Mujika. Some of the script writing surrounding that is exceptionally fucking corny, though.
It
despite
really
how
is,
the whole
Jesus.
second episode is spent developing Emma's tracking abilities specifically as a connection between her and Sanju, the only reason they actually manage to reconnect is because a random monster attack causes Emma to drop a pendant Yujika gave her in a clearing that their peaceful demon pals just happen to double back through. Which I immediately thought would be the most contrived anime plot point I'd see all year, until Norman started having second thoughts mid-genocide because, I shit you not here, an adorable little demon girl who he was about to stab to death in front of her kindly, blindly grandpa happens to be named Emma. What does that mean? Why did you say that name? It doesn't belabor that ridiculous point to the same degree as Hack Snyder's dialogue, but anytime I'm comparing a script to Batman v Superman, something has gone very wrong. Why did you say that name? And it only gets more contrived from there. As episode 9 begins, Emma finishes Takno Jutsuing Norman out of doing a genocide, then he reveals that he's dying due to the experimental drugs he was force-fed in Lambda. The other Lambda super kids who are also dying are less enthused about quitting the genocide route, but Norman is ultimately able to reason with everyone
because
except
he's
Vincent.
the boss.
And it turns out to be a very good thing that they spare the demons, especially other Emma's grandpa, because 15 years ago he happened upon a dying man who just happened to have a memory chip for the kid's holographic pen computer that just happens to contain a recipe to cure all the Lambda symptoms. You know, the symptoms caused by all those experimental drugs, which I guess they finalized the formulas for 15 years ago. Damn, the Demon FDA sure do be thorough. Even more conveniently, somehow, the chip also contains a full blueprint of Grace Fieldhouse, complete with guard postings that are also miraculously still up
Everything's
to date,
so
despite
rushed.
the very publicized escape that every demon's still talking about 2 years later, and Norman's subsequent raids on other farms.
We can cure ourselves now, because that room's gotta have everything we need in it.
The head of the Rattray clan, who took over when Minerva went on the run, have just hopped on the radio to announce that they'll be shipping Phil and the rest of Emma's family to Lambda tomorrow. So it's now or never for the rescue plan that they needed that exact document for. However, even those advantages might not be enough, because in the cliffhanger ending, Vincent calls up Rattray to make a deal.
My God, and nobody cared. And then it was a bluff.
All of the potential tension his betrayal might have caused is sucked out of the room when it's revealed to be part of the plan, an attempt to distract Peter Rattray from their real infiltration efforts.
No one saw
By the way,
his character
buckle
develop at
up for
all.
this episode summary. There's a lot to cover. Vincent claims they'll be using hot air balloons to disperse demon-degenerating drugs over the farm, and the sociopathic Rattray takes this kid he's never met at his word, adjusting
he just believes him straight away. It's like, okay, cool,
ha
ha ha ha,
Phil
bad guy.
packs his bags and then moves out in the dead of night with his oblivious younger siblings. A fleet of hot air balloons descends on the farm. The guards bring them down with spears, only to discover that they're decoys.
My
loaded
God,
not
there's nobody
with drugs
in
and
them.
kids, but bombs. Then an attack force consisting of Sanju and the Lambda kids ambushes those guards by leaping from other balloons
that they just happen to not shoot down. Yeah, it's like, what?
Under the cover of all this
yeah,
chaos,
exactly.
the Gracefield kids return to the burned out.
And why do the demons just have spears? And why do the humans have guns? I don't get it.
Does to reflect on that dramatic moment before
and why do the humans drive around in cars? Why do the demons use horse-drawn
Once
cars?
inside, Ray knocks out the canonically super strong healing factor demon guards with one lead pipe to the head and steals
he had to do
their
something.
headset radios. I can't overemphasize how much I hate this. It all goes so quick and easy for our heroes that it retroactively trivializes the entire escape.
Yes, like they had to work so hard for that.
These hazmat-suited goons are what we were so afraid of? As the kids tie the guards up, Emma escorts some of the younger children to a warehouse where they disguise themselves in shipment day clothes so they can infiltrate the other groups of kids and deliver messages to Phil and their other siblings. Meanwhile, Vincent's been busy hacking into the Gracefield network, allowing him to shut down the cameras and take control of the security doors so Emma and the gang can finally begin the attack by shooting the cameras that he just deactivated. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
This
wow, I
brings
never
us
thought
to
about that.
the
Yeah, they
episode's
deactivated everything
halfway
everywhere. Anyway, why would they...
That buckle's still fastened.
Oh,
The
that's so
lights all
stupid.
shut down, and on Emma's intercom signal, Phil and co start a merry chase through the halls of Gracefield HQ, which all the other kids agree to take part in because...
It's Chase.
Using the sewers and tunnels, it takes everyone less than
Yes,
2
no
minutes to reach
convincing
the
whatsoever.
ornate elevator room at the center of the facility. The episode does at least give Emma's tearful reunion with Phil a modicum of breathing room, which is nice. But then it's right back to winding us when, oh no, the elevator doesn't
It's
work.
not...
And,
But then it
oh no, all
just
the doors have
works
slammed
later. I
shut
didn't understand that
because,
at all.
oh no, all the moms and sisters are here.
With guns.
Isabella walks in dramatically with a taunting Peter Rattray not far behind, and the kids are forced to drop their weapons. There's a tense standoff between Rattray and Emma where she defiantly declares that she doesn't give a damn about destiny, and then, exactly 1 minute and 50 seconds after re-entering the story as a credible threat that's been built up to for the entire season, Isabella and her sisters turn their guns on their boss, instantly solving the problem.
Yes.
That whole bit about
We're
her
good
getting
guys
back
now.
the kids who betrayed her was a lie. If you were excited by the prospect of an anime original strategic rematch between
I
Emma,
wanted to see
Norman,
something.
Ray, and the woman who raised them, too fucking bad. It was just a slightly different setup to do almost exactly the same thing the manga did with her, only faster and worse. But then, oh no again, reinforcements from the other farms are coming and they're gonna kick all their...
Are they
No,
reinforcements?
it appears that old man Deus Ex Machina managed to whip his entire town up into a revolutionary frenzy off-screen, and they brought a battering ram.
Plot
Once Sanju
convenience.
kicks in the control room door like a boss, it's all over
Just in
for
frame.
these Gracefield
Okay, there you
chumps. Rattray gives up upon realizing the civilians have the power of the evil blood, but while he's despairing
Which we
about
are
the end
never
of his family's
told
legacy,
why it's
the
called
always
that
gracious
or
Emma
who
offers
she
him her
is.
hand. A gesture that would be incredibly powerful if we knew literally anything about this
him.
guy.
Yeah.
Sadly, they only started establishing his character with a short flashback 2 episodes ago, so if you haven't read the manga, tough titties.
Yeah.
It means absolutely nothing.
I guess.
Episode 11 attempts to remedy this by kicking off with a PowerPoint presentation of Peter's backstory, the chain of events that led to him murdering his own brother and the string of atrocities that followed that, before he melodramatically slits his own throat in slow motion 5 minutes in. This leaves only 15 to wrap up Isabella's character arc, get the kids through the portal, and reach a happy ending.
something.
14 after they're done introducing the demon aristocrats and
Which
queen,
are only
who
just
we
introduced to.
will also never see again.
Yeah.
They managed to squeeze the kids tearfully forgiving Isabella for everything she did over the course of an entire season of anime into 2 minutes. Goodbye to Grandpa takes 30 seconds. Then all that's left is a slow, dramatic elevator ride down to the portal.
Which
Most
didn't
of which
work
is
for some
spent
reason
staring
before.
at the ceiling. But hey, it's a very nice ceiling.
Now.
Plot important too, or it would be if the plot kept going.
Really?
Upon reaching the big stone portal of truth knockoff in the Gracefield basement, Emma realizes she can use the magic problem-solving pen one more time as a
Yay,
key
the
to
pen
open
just
it.
magically
Because
works.
it totally makes sense that a modern piece of hyper-advanced technology disguised as an only slightly less modern writing instrument would open a 700-year-old
It does everything
magic portal.
else, so why
the really
not?
weird bit is that the pen isn't even standing in for a different key MacGuffin here. The portal in the manga was just an open staircase leading down into an Escher-esque interdimensional void. I do understand that they chose not to animate that much cooler thing and repurposed the door to the 7 walls here so they could do the big dramatic goodbye scene.
Yeah,
The
okay.
door slowly closes between everyone heading to the human world and Emma's crew,
But-
who decided to stay behind and
so
help
stupid.
the anti-farm revolution, her bloodied hand slipping through Phil's innocent,
No,
unstained
Phil.
fingers at
Go
the
wear
threshold.
normal
Real
clothes and drive in
symbolic shit.
public transportation.
But, the 7 Walls portal didn't have a lock either. Why invent a new problem if you're just gonna write the dumbest possible solution to it? And I mean, the pendant's right there around Emma's neck being completely useless. I don't understand how it got this bad. After that, we get to watch all of the kids, sisters, and moms settle into the human world.
The pendant had something else to do
Discover
then.
Drip in a minute and 30 seconds of storyboards. Then, after Emma's done meeting God, that whole revolution business is encapsulated in one picture of Sanju making a deal with the demon's religious leaders, one nighttime shot of the capital city, one shot of the sun rising over some discarded flags, one shot of Musica being
means
coronated,
nothing.
and
If you've read the manga, maybe, yeah.
Emma just
But
saved
it
the
means
entire
nothing.
world. seconds left over to walk through the portal to Ellis Island.
Back into a happy ending.
Phil just happens to be there on a field trip, I guess. Yay! Yazzie and I straight up shouted at our television as we were watching that.
If I see a sink, who are you? Who is the fucking silver-haired girl?
The one next to him with the Pokemon lenses.
Stop!
What?
Stop!
Are you? Fuck you! Fuck you!
Oh wow, this is brilliant. This is brilliant.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's just such a
Damn.
slap in the face to anyone who ever gave a shit about any version of this story.
Yeah.
Including the people telling it, apparently, since neither of the anime's screenwriters nor mangaka/series composer Kayu Shirai wanted to take credit for the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, there was no one credited at all, was there?
They probably didn't have much say in how it all went down. That's important to keep in mind before you start, yelling at animators or even studios.
Yeah, there's no one to yell at.
I guarantee that every adaptation that hurts you personally was 10 times harder on the people who actually had to make it. As hackishly slapdash as this finale is, a lot of people probably slept under their desks to get it out the door.
Quite
if they slept
probably,
at all.
yeah.
The anime industry can be like that at the best of times. And given how many animators this production needed to recruit from Twitter, this definitely was not the best of times. Of course, most anime don't turn out anywhere near this badly, so what led to this disaster? Well, I can only speculate, but my previous speculation that the anime would causally cascade into a parallel timeline did prove to be correct. It's just that most of that timeline was condensed into a PowerPoint presentation
Yeah,
and
he did
shoehorned
mention
in
that,
after a
yeah.
stripped-down version of the season finale they clearly originally planned for. I'd bet good money that the last credits were supposed to roll right after that big stone door slammed shut, and I'd further wager that a combination of fan reactions to and dipping ratings for early episodes is what caused the production committee, who are the ones who actually have final say in this, not Cloverworks or even Shirai, to cut their losses and to turn that cliffhanger into a skeleton of a conclusion.
Right.
My best guess is that that call was made in the week they bought themselves by gratuitously recapping
Doing a
17
recap
episode,
episode.
which would have left the team with only 6 weeks to rejigger an already half-finished ending. That must have been hellish. Of course, the seeds for that were really planted far earlier when they initially opted not to give us the goddamn Goldie Pond adaptation we all wanted. This is a massive entertainment franchise from the biggest name
I think
in
when my
manga
girlfriend's
publishing,
reading the
with
Goldie
a
Pond
lot of
arc,
money
I
riding
will
on it.
be checking
Not
that out as
an
well. 'Cause
environment
that's everyone's been
conducive
saying
to
that
big
that's where it's
creative
at.
risks. So the real question is, why did they try this in the first place?
Yeah.
If my initial theory that Kayu Shirai wanted to use different versions of the same story to give us different angles on various clues to the show's deeper mysteries is true, that would have been kind of a baller artistic move, but the new anime doesn't really provide many clues not seen in the manga, and the ones it does are rendered unreliable by animation errors. Also, you'd think the series creator could come up with a more interesting parallel timeline than just reordering plot beats they already
Yeah,
did in the manga.
and then skimming over
So
stuff that seems
maybe
really
there was some other,
important, like
more
speedrun
pragmatic
stuff.
reason for skipping the content they did. Goldie Pond does introduce a massive cast of new characters with speaking roles, 19 counting both the demon villains and the human
Whoa,
resistance,
okay.
as does Norman's Paradise hideout, which the series writes its way around. By sticking to just the main 4 Lambda kids, one of whom doesn't talk, representing all of Demon Society besides Mujika and Sanju, with 2 random villagers, 1 old guy and his granddaughter, and using red herring cutaways to a recycled Isabella in lieu of actually having a new, persistent villain for the season, they sure did cut down on their need for new voice actors. Alternately, one of my Twitter followers, Big Dylan J, suggested that they may have just wanted to avoid animating children with guns, which would also explain why the Minerva Bunker's armory was empty, and would be understandable
imagine
given that the
if
first
that's
season
why?
gained a lot of its fans through Toonami. That sort of imagery just hits a little different in America, and it might have been hard to get back on television with Emma brandishing an assault rifle. Or it could simply
That's an
be that
interesting
with the
theory.
manga over and financial incentives to produce a TV anime dwindling, they just wanted to wrap the show up in 1 season and a movie. Again, though, we can only speculate. Barring some behind-the-scenes tell-all, we'll never know for sure why this went down the way it went down, but I can say with absolute certainty that I have never in my life been more let down by anime. The Promised Neverland Season 2 makes the drop from Einkrad to Alfheim look like a fucking kiddie slide.
Yep.
I've been trying to cut down on the hyperbolic rage content because it's bad for my mental health, and the anime internet at large is angry enough already.
It was really bad.
I hate this ending. I mean, really hate it in a vicious, personal way. Watching it hurt me deeply and complexly, like seeing a cherished old relative slowly forget who they are. This is one of my favorite stories. These are some of my favorite characters.
I love
if
season
the
1 from Neverland, man.
clue you in, I am deeply invested in this world. The sheer disrespect that this ending, and to some extent the whole season, has shown toward all of that is just plain galling. But I can at least take some kind of sick solace in the knowledge that I'm not alone. That it was so bad, even anime-onlys blissfully unaware of what they're missing can see how thoroughly they gutted this thing.
Yep.
I know some of you still enjoyed it on the whole, and I'm not going to knock anyone who does. There are even some things to like about the ending. I mean, look at Phil. He got so big. Where the fuck is Carol?
That was a weird one, yeah.
You're entitled to your sense of closure. Just like we're entitled to the gnawing void where our hearts used to be. I'm glad we could reach this understanding. The manga has been helping me fill that void a bit, especially with the new epilogue and special insert chapters Shirai's been dropping sporadically, and it may do the same for you. If you want to know where to start as an anime fan, Yazzy's last video will fill you in on that. Alternately, if you're looking for a better anime to take up your time, my whole channel's full of great suggestions. A lot of you were missing out on Skate the Infinity and its transforming robot skateboard named
I am going to binge that, but I have watched the first 2 episodes. I've got so much to binge.
From my mother's
Basement. I've got so much anime from this season to binge. Because I watched the first 2 episodes of like everything, and then stuck with the weekly stuff with my girlfriend, and then boom. And Promised Neverland Season 2 was one of the weekly things I'd watch with that, and it was just like, what the hell is going on? Ray didn't have any dialogue, and I'm surprised he didn't say anything. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Isabella bloody Ray's mum, and they didn't do anything with that whatsoever? Hello? It's like, oh, it was so frustrating. It was so rushed, and but yeah, I hate it as well. It was so annoying, and every time an episode would end, me and my girlfriend would just sit here and be like, just picking it apart. Like, why? And I suppose that theory is interesting as to why. No, actually, it doesn't answer the question. Because my question was, why do the demons use spears and the humans use guns? So I was about to like, oh. Hey. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know if you're watching, discussing future videos. And I'll see you guys. It's all you guys next time.